God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
I was expecting you to hold that note just a moment longer so I could get back up here. Were you out of breath or what? Forgot to take a breath? All right. All right, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? Great. Good to see you all here today. Happy May Day. Not as in Mayday, Mayday, but May Day. Yeah, I know. Bump it up. Okay, so welcome. This is a Center for Spiritual Living. You're in Granada Hills, and you are most welcome to be here. We welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. We have a little thing we like to do here called hugs and handshakes. And so let's take a moment to check in with each other and say, yay! Nice. So, are we live streaming, Mike? We are. Which camera are we on right now? Over here. So everybody wave hi. I know we have people. Marilyn, maybe Fred may be on watching us.
Fred. How you doing, Fred?
Yeah, so hi. All right, so please help me welcome to the platform our presider, the always low energy, Reverend Jessica. All right, so let's take a deep, conscious breath. That's it. Relax. Use the breath to anchor us in this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Jessica lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Jessica lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Yes. Oh, we can just feel it, this love circulating throughout this room, so lovingly awakened by the 9 o'clock service and the meditation, that we're sitting in this wonderful hot tub of relaxing love known as God, because God is all that there is. The hot tubs, the meditation cushion, God is. And I know that as we sit here, that we are in agreement about that we are one with this presence, this spiritual divinity that we are, that flows in and through and as us. I know that this service is blessed from that place of the open heart, including our audiovisual, our live streamers, our musical inspiration, and the saxophone. All of our children in a children's church, our teens, our tweens, our young little ones. The Kleenex sitting on your chairs, giving us permission to have our feelings with our open heart. And in particular, Reverend Michael McMorrow, as he comes forth from the Word, speaking the Word, God's Word, falling on God's ears. I am so grateful to be here in this Center for Spiritual Loving known in Granada Hills. I am so grateful to be in this co-creative experience of awakening to our spiritual magnificence. So, we just allow it. We just welcome it. We let it be. We release this word into the action of the law from which it came. And we can affirm by saying, and so it is. Thank you, Ken. Whew. So, in this Science of Mind teaching, we talk about being in the absolute. And when I first heard it, that absolute sounded solid, rigid, unchanging. But however, when I got deeper into classes and deeper into reading Ernest Holmes, I learned, in fact, that this teaching is all about energy abundantly, generously flowing through our lives. That Emerson talks about how nature is not fixed, but it's fluid, with the seasons being altered, the trees growing, the roses blooming, just being molded and made fluid by higher levels of consciousness. Emerson believed that the physical universe is a flow rather than a reflection of God, not separate, because God and our lives on this planet can't be separated. Troward says we consciously direct the flow of spirit to definitely recognize positive purposes. And then he reminds us to carefully guard our thoughts from flowing in the negative direction. So we choose to be in this flow. We step into this flow, or we're always in this flow of divinity, of love, of peace, of joy. Man, thank you for coming today. Yes. Ernest Holmes says that there can be but one common cause, one universal, infinite spirit flowing through and becoming everything. Consciousness, God, love is always moving abundantly, generously flowing through our lives. Now, here's my favorite quote about energy flow in the universe. Some of you might recognize it. The continuum is real. You see, there are millions upon millions of worlds in the universe, each filled with too much of one thing and not enough of another. The great continuum flows through them all like a mighty river, from have to want, and then back again. And if we navigate the continuum with skill and grace, our ship will be filled with everything our hearts desire. That's from a Ferengi legend from the future, as told by Nog in Deep Space Nine. So, you see, spiritual principle of energy flow is timeless and universal, not just for mystics. So I invite us all to affirm that our lives so flow with prosperous solutions that we forget any issues and we enjoy all of the generous answers. Living in prosperous solutions, we make a difference, creating a world that works for everyone and a life that works for each one of us. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Good morning. Please welcome Mr. Kent Moore on bass. David Lemus on keys and sax. Miss Angela Carol Brown on background vocals. She's over here. Miss Terry Page, also background vocals. Yeah. And for your listening enjoyment today, you know her from Wednesday nights, Miss Sharon Scott.
Put your hands together. When I wake up in the morning, love, the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, weighs heavy on my mind. Then I think of you, and the world's all right with me. Oh, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be, what's it gonna be? Come on. A lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. A lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, someone else instead of me seems to know the way. Oh, just one thought of you, and the world's all right with me. Yeah. Oh, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be, 'cause it is, right? Come on, sing it with me. A lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. A lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Hey, yeah. Just one look at you, and the world's all right with me. Yeah. Oh, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be, what's it gonna be? A lovely, lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Hey, hey. A lovely day. Right, Jessica? Lovely day. A lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely. A lovely day. Oh, a lovely day. Yeah. A lovely day.
Where'd she go? Oh, there she is. Thank you, Sharon. That was wonderful. It is a lovely day. I would agree to that. You know, I was thinking, as I do on my way here on Sunday mornings, how really, truly great it is to be a part of something, to be a part of a community. I'm so grateful that I get to appreciate Sunday mornings, getting up, getting ready to come here. It really is a wonderful feeling, and I know that a lot of you share that with me. I'm happy to see all of you. I'm happy to highlight the announcements for this really, truly lovely day. As you know, because I have reminded you so many times, there is an insert in your brochure that will outline all of the wonderful events that we have ongoing in this community. You know, for a small place, we're pretty mighty. We've got a lot of really cool things that go on here. In particular, today at 4 o'clock is the Abraham Hicks Group, and Mike Carland, our sound guy back there, who our sound booth was dedicated to because he's so loyal and wonderful. He will be facilitating the Abraham Hicks group, and the topic today is money and the law of attraction. Starting May 4th, I guess maybe it's starting May 4th, a new Sangha group is beginning with Reverend Jeannie Hoffman. I have not had a chance to participate in Sangha because I still work, but I understand from people who are loyal followers of Sangha that it's truly a wonderful, wonderful group of people that get together on Wednesday mornings. And I guess they're beginning a spiritual cinema series, and that will be Wednesdays, May 4th, May 11th, and May 18th. And details are in Sparks Hall. Also, on 3 consecutive Tuesdays, beginning May 17th and continuing May 24th and May 31st, is Dr. Tatsu Hirano, one of our new congregants. I don't see him here right now. He is going to be doing a 3-week workshop titled Symmetry, Shape, Shift. He is a doctor of Oriental medicine and a licensed acupuncturist. There is a $20 per class suggested donation, and all the proceeds come back to the church. So that's going to be a wonderful thing, yes. Also, I do want to say that most of you, I think, received a letter in the mail asking for money. And the money is going towards paying down the mortgage on this property. And you got an envelope that looks like this in your mailer that was sent out. If you have that envelope with you, you can pop it in our donation basket today when we pass it around. If not, we look forward to receiving it any other way you'd like to give it to us. So, with money in it, Jessica reminded me. So I'm knowing that we are indeed going to have a lovely day. So thank you.
So many of you might not know it. Andrea is on our board. Thank you for being of service. And I just want you to know that I sing just like Sharon. I just don't sound like her. When she asks us to sing along, I'm like going, oh my God. Anyway, we're all going to stand up and do our declaration of principle. All right? We believe in the one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon all of nine, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all. And stay standing. We're going to sing.
I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. My God is so good to me. Well, I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. My God. this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Yeah. Well, feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. My God is so good to me. Here we go. My God is so. My God is so. My God is so good to me.
Big hand. You were not only singing, but you were dancing and moving. It's lovely, getting that circulation of flow. So it is my pleasure to have Reverend Mike McMorrow come forward. We went to a conference together 2 weeks ago, and I have to tell you that we are blessed to have Reverend Mike McMorrow. He is a special spiritual director among all the spiritual directors. So let's have him come
Don't
forward.
encourage him. Yes. All right. Thank you for that. Kind introduction. Most of it true. I'll let you sort out which part. All right, so it is a grand day in Granada Hills. Lovely job, Sharon. Let's give Sharon some more love there. Before I forget, I meant to mention, if you can come up here and sing when it's time to sing your next song, because we can see you better on the live streaming. Yeah, so the folks out in internet land want to see you too. All right, so today is the self-knowingness of spirit. And it's also May 1st, so happy May Day. There are a couple of birthdays happening. Today is Rosa's birthday. Yes. And it's also, who's 39 today? And tomorrow, Jerry will be 39 as well. So, yes. So thanks for celebrating your birthday by joining us this morning.
Terry's birthday was a couple days ago.
And okay.
Yeah.
You know, back in my granola years in Port Townsend, we used to have this big party called Gemini Junction because there were so many people. I don't know if this is Gemini or not, but anyway, it just triggered the memory, which is pretty amazing because I remember very little from that era. So, yeah. Gemini Junction. That was fun. All right, so it has been a very busy few weeks in the church calendar, to be sure. I would like to give Ken and David and Mike Carlin a shout out for doing, and Terry for doing yeoman's work this past weekend. Because yesterday we had a wonderful celebration of life for Dr. Katie Carlotta Hack, sister-in-law of Kitty Hack. You may have noticed Katie because she was a beautiful woman, African-American woman who had green eyes and a big winning smile. And towards the last few times she was here, she had an oxygen bottle. So you may have noticed her and not known who she was. She made her transition earlier in the month. And so we gave her a good send-off yesterday. And so we wish her well on her journey onto the next plane. Even as today we explore the self-knowingness of spirit on this one. So the self-knowingness of spirit. What the heck does that mean? The self-knowingness of spirit. Well, he doesn't know either. But he probably knows better than most grown-ups, right? The self-knowingness of spirit. So, Ernest Holmes, isn't that a great shot? Yeah. I feel like that most of the time. And I have almost as much hair as this kid. All right. So, Ernest Holmes from his What Religious Science Teaches. From the infinite knowingness of God, our power to know arises because our mind springs. Our mind springs from the universal mind. From the infinite self-knowingness of God. So, what does that mean? Self-knowingness of God. Our power to know arises because our mind springs from the universal mind. So this self-knowingness is what Ernest Holmes called consciousness. Consciousness, right? In fact, he said in Love and Law, he wrote, "What I mean by consciousness is the power to know or self-knowing." So, consciousness, from the infinite consciousness of spirit, our power to know arises because our mind springs from the universal mind. In what way? In consciousness. Right? So, we alone, at least from what we're aware of and the ways that we can measure today, we alone think and can think about thinking. We are conscious and are conscious of being conscious except when we're unconscious. And isn't that the rub? Right? So when we've had a few bush mills, we have an excuse. But what about the rest of the time? We're unconscious. Well, this is, I think, the great challenge and the great riddle of life. The self-knowingness of God, our power to know, arises because our mind springs from the universal mind. So considering the implications of a life lived from this realization, that our mind springs from the universal mind. If this is a new term for you, we're talking about the mind of God itself. Christ consciousness, the Buddha nature. Right? That thing that's so much bigger than we are, and yet, at the same time, is right where you are. Right where you and I reside. So imagine if we really understood this and claimed it to be the truth of our own being. Imagine the potential of life lived from this place. Now, I remember when I first heard of this idea, I began to consider the possibilities for my own life, and I thought, well, that's true for them, but not for me. Particularly after I heard you say, it's done unto you as you believe. Well, I knew what I believed, right? I knew what I believed, and that's what got me here. Because when I got here, it was not from inspiration. I did not come here going, I think I'll go to church today. That's not where I was at. I came here going, man, maybe these guys the science of mind, maybe they can do something about my thinking. I was desperate. And that's not an uncommon story. I'm just fessing up to it. So I'm not saying this to reveal anything about myself, except to offer that maybe you can relate to some of this. Right? And maybe we don't have to be so new to relate to the idea that sometimes what we believe is not, or what we're expressing is not really what we believe we believe. What we're expressing, what we're demonstrating as our life is not congruent with what we believe we believe. So when you said, it's done unto to me as I believe, I knew that I couldn't trust what I believe most of the time. Or at least I couldn't trust that what I believed was what was best for me. And in fact, I had come from, my way of dealing with life at this time was that I lived life by committee. So first it was up here, right? And when I got the voices kind of settled down, not that I was psychotic or anything, but that I had, well, I won't tell you what they call it in 12-step. There was just some chatter going on, we'll put it that way. And then, so I got that down, but I still didn't have the confidence. I still didn't have the inward confidence. And so I would go around saying, you know, I'm thinking about starting this company. What do you think? And I would rule my life by committee, subjecting myself to the opinions of others. Now, this seems like a pretty silly way to live today, yes? And yet, if you consider it for a moment, we still at some level are doing that. If we have Fox News on all the time, or MSNBC, because we just want to check out what's going on out there, because we never know what, well, let's just face it. It's a crazy year this year, isn't it? Right? There's all kinds of crazy things on both sides. Like the left is really left. It's even more left than I am, and I thought I was a lefty all this time. And the right is even further right than it's been in a long time. And so there's all this crazy talk. And now we have Facebook. Do you know Facebook posted its biggest profits ever? You know what the driver is? Donald Trump. Yes, Donald Trump. So it's like the more outrageous, and you know, I say they all have something to say, even him, right? And I'm not a big friend of his going way back, because I've worked for developers most of my career before ministry, and well, I just know that personality, and so I'm witnessing that. And there's a lot of great things about the entrepreneurial spirit. There really is. Right? But I also know the way that these things can also go sideways. So this committee, whether we are aware of it or not, is that we are entertaining it unconsciously, unless we're conscious that that we're being subjected to such forces. So, this idea that it's done unto you it's done unto you as you believe, and that life expresses itself, my mind expresses itself as the self-knowingness of the universal mind. These were like huge concepts for me, because we know that we practice the law of attraction, and so given where my consciousness was at the time, you can imagine the kind of brain trust that I was attracting to myself. It wasn't, well, you'd have to know them to know how funny that really is. But when I came here, could see that y'all were onto something. I could see that. You were happy and you were positive. You were confident in your happiness. Confident. I knew it wasn't a snow job. You know how you can tell? Right? You know people who are authentically happy versus the ones who are just putting icing on the horse apple? Yeah. So really, they were authentic in their happiness. Even the folks who were working through real stuff, right? Even the folks who were working through health challenges or bankruptcies or can't find a job or heart sore, they were still happy on some level. There was an authenticity and a confidence in that way of being. So I wasn't really quite sure of the place, right? So I was a disgruntled Roman Catholic when I started coming here. Although I had a 12-step background that had opened me up to this idea of a higher power. In fact, I can tell you that I had been exploring, trying to find a Roman Catholic church that preached the Holy Spirit, right? Because I didn't have any problems with Jesus, but because we were from the same union, right? We were both carpenters, right? So, I used to think, wow, this splinter that I'm digging out, Jesus used to get splinters just like this, man. I wonder if he used the same language that I just used when I got it, right? So, when you start to consider the humanity of it all, right? But I knew that I was moving into longing for something deeper. That there was, this idea that I could have a Pentecost, right? Where I wanted to be breathed on and said, receive the Holy Spirit. That's what I wanted. And so I went on a search. And I found myself here. And you witnessed and testified these principles by just being who you are. Right? You were demonstrating these principles, this idea that it is done unto you as you believe, that there's a power for good in the universe and you can use it. Now, I got to tell you, if it can work for me, it'll work for anyone. It will, trust me, it will work for anyone. But I did the work. I went to class. Even though you had to pay money. Why would you have classes at church and then you got to pay money to go to classes? Right? And then you said, get one of them treatments, them mind treatments. Well, then they're asking for money again. What is this, the Church of the Eternal Dollar? What's going on here? But I did what you said to do because I wanted what you had. I wanted that sense. I wanted to be an authentic person. I knew that I had a sensitive nature, but I didn't want to be a girly man in my expression of it. Right? All of this going on. I had a construction business. I had a lot of good stuff going on. I had some sobriety under my belt, so I had the plug in the jug for 13 years before I got here. But even that wasn't enough. Right? I had to learn that the same power that somehow got me and kept me sober was the same power that I could use to change my life for good. But I had to do it consciously. Right? I had to do it consciously. And so, we light a candle for all of these faith traditions, right? So the Buddhists teach us that we need to practice mindfulness. Not only that, but, life is difficult, that life is suffering. And that the only way out of the riddle is through the Eightfold Path, which is very similar to science of mind if you think about it. Right thinking, right employment, right concentration. For those who practice the precepts, no intoxicants. Right? Because what happens when we begin to practice meditation, right concentration, meditation, the chatter starts to go down and we find out what? We find out, what do I really think? What do I really think? What's been downloaded in there that I didn't really buy into consciously? Does this serve me? If it doesn't serve me anymore, out she goes. Give it the hook. Because we came to understand that this idea of self-knowingness of God is you. And it's me. God expressing itself as you and as me and as everyone else too. You and me and the entire manifest universe from the Big Bang and even before then. That we are the logical expression, in fact, of this thing that we call matter coalescing and commingling with itself until finally we show up along with other species. But we're the ones who made the cut. We think and we think about thinking. So let's start thinking better thoughts. This is a great thing about what's going on in the news today. For the first time in a long time, I feel like there are some new thoughts being bantered around, because another thing that Buddhists teach is the idea of contrast. Right? So we need the dark with the light. Maybe that's more of a Taoist thing. Right? But we have the contrast, right? We have the contrast. And as Reverend Jeannie was saying earlier today, and then we know what to pray for. The only way out of the riddle for people of faith is to know there's a power for good in the universe available to everyone, and we're calling it forth right now. Now, for myself, there's been a lot of stuff going on besides the day-to-day responsibilities, and then going to Denver, and then drinking from a fire hose on church financial management for a week, crunching numbers and doing all that, and then pulling all the stuff together for our new church loan. And this is not my strong suit, sitting in front of the computer. Why isn't it sending? Right, that kind of a week. And then having a memorial service yesterday for Dr. Katie, which I was delighted to do. And one more time, giving witness to a life well lived. A life well lived. And the last speaker got up and clearly was bearing his soul about things left undone, things left unsaid. Right? Very touching. And I think my impression was it wasn't so. I think he and Katie got right, but it sounded like it was getting right with everyone else. This is a big family. Every seat filled. Every seat filled. It was a very moving moment. And then to hear about my dear sister Judith, my teacher when I was, facing a health diagnosis. And we know it's all coming for all of us, right? We know this, right? When we're younger, we think, oh, it's way off. Well, we don't know when it's going to happen. We just don't. This is why, as the master teacher said, we have to be prepared, right? And what does being prepared mean? To live every day. Right? As Ernest Holmes said, that while we live, to recognize and know that we are an expression of the eternality of the one God, each one of us. That our task then is to awaken and to really claim this truth for ourselves and to step into the mantle of knowing that we are a demonstration of God, that we are the agent that God's going to do its thing by means of the planet. So it's not up to Trump or Bernie or Hillary or the rest of these guys. It's up to you and me and everyone else to get our mind right. Yeah, that really is wood up there. We have to get our mind right. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to have to make the trip through the heart. Right? Because oftentimes the heart can connect to things the mind hasn't sorted out yet. Right? So we approach the law through what? Through love. It's love and law. The self-givingness of spirit. Spirit giving of itself. And I'm so far out in the weeds, I don't even know what I have up here anymore. So, the theology of grace. Right? The universe withholds nothing from anyone. We're the withholders. It's not spirit. Why are we withholding? Because we're afraid. That's it. We're afraid we're not going to have enough. We're afraid there's not enough to share. They're afraid they're going to take it all. Right? And yet, in reading and studying Ken Wilber in this integral approach, even in business, to recognize the interconnectedness of life, that we have before us now a wonderful opportunity, seeing that the way that the world has unfolded up until now has really it's not sustainable. And so what really is called now is for an integration of knowing that it's only one thing. It's consciousness and expression. My love for you, your love for me, your love for your loved ones, your neighbors, all consciousness. Your business, your money, your right vocation, consciousness. Your creativity, consciousness. Your body temple, consciousness. Yours, ours, my body temple. Consciousness. So what we think affects our reality. That as we think higher level thoughts, life-affirming thoughts, that we set in motion a vibration of thought and activate a pattern of perfection of life itself that draws to itself, right? More God, really, right? If it's all the self-knowingness of God, it's just God vibrating, attracting and vibrating more God. Yes? Is that logical? Yeah? All right. I thought it was just me. I thought I was the only enlightened one here. Yeah. Okay. The fact that I even say such things gives you the big clue. All right. So now Holmes says, it's like he recognizes that there are obstacles. Well, why is that? Well, it seems difficult for the race, the human race, which feels itself to be so limited, to know that there is a power. There is a power that makes things directly out of itself by simply becoming the thing it makes. Mm-hmm. And it does this by self-knowing. Now, hopefully, this is giving you, there's a little quickening going in there, having this realization that this idea of struggle, right? Ricky in her song, no more struggle, no more strife. Right? We see the light. We see the light of God in all things. All right, so that's enough. Let's call the musicians forward. And Sharon's going to come up to this spot. And we're going to take a deep breath and consider this idea of the self-knowingness of spirit. As you, like today, take some time today to consider the idea of God expressing as you. And if you get there, do me a favor and see me as expressing God. Because, brothers and sisters, I need that knowing. Anyone in ministry. Know it for my friend, Sister Judith. For Carlotta as we send her on her way. And for Sharon as she shares this song with us right now.
Every step, every move you make can never be a mistake. How could it be when we are so blessed and guided eternally? So even if you should fall, God is listening anytime you call. So don't forget, you're not alone. Wherever you go, you're already home. So get comfortable, find an easy chair. There's nowhere to go, you're already there. Nowhere else to look but right where you are beautiful, a shining star. No matter what you do or where you've been, love surrounding you, surrounding you. So get comfortable, find an easy chair. There's nowhere to go, you're already there. Nowhere else to look but right where you are. You are beautiful, a shining star. No matter what you do or where you've been, love surrounding you, surrounding you. So don't forget, you're not alone. Wherever you go, you're already home.
Sings pretty good, eh? Yeah, let's give her some more love. And that is one of her songs. So we're just going to know for Sharon that next CD is coming out sooner rather than later. Did you bring any CDs with you today? No. Okay. So, but you can come on Wednesday nights and she'll bring one for you. So let's call our ushers forward now as we go into our...
I am so blessed, I am so glad, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
presented here this morning are a gift of consciousness. The consciousness of that individual that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance and supply. And so from the generous heart from which these gifts have been offered here this morning, we together accept these gifts as community with deep appreciation, love and respect. As we know together, they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the life of each person here this morning, the lives of anyone connected to this center in any way. That we know that this blessing includes our friends here in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that all of it is the free, infinite givingness and self-knowingness of God in expression. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in all ways, great and small. This lifts us. We feel the grace to live life as an expression of spiritual living, one day at a time. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is, amen. So please help me thank our beautiful Swiss Miss and Mr. MacDonald from the lowlands of Scotland, generations away, Mr. MacDonald. All right, so who's our spokespersona today? All right, Ben, come on up, bro.
Are we on?
Yes, we are. So tell everybody who you are, so they want to see you.
I'm Ben, and we are still working on the project for the whole church, and it includes affirmation.
All right, man. Good job. And in the back, what you got for us?
We write that we are saying Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. It says, Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. And I just want to say that how much that I'm so grateful that I'm going to turn. I'm already 21, but I'm so glad that I'm going to be graduating this year.
Good. Very nice. All right, so I just wanted to remind everybody that the Tamale Fest, the second installment of that, is next Sunday. And thank you for not moaning. I just want to because I did understand there was some grousing about our teens' effort. Come on, the teens made them. But yes. And now we have 2 more moms helping. Yes. Yeah. So I actually thought they were good, but I'll eat almost anything except liver. So, yeah. So anyway, support our teens. They're getting to camp. It's a wonderful experience for them. It's a great experience for their parents because their teens are gone all week. So let's support them in that. And let's thank the band one more time. Angela Carol Brown and Terry Page, our background singers. And Miss Sharon Scott of Wednesday night and Sunday morning, and longtime singer here. And all of you and all of our kids. And let's get Reverend Jessica up here to pray us out.
All right, I'm going to ask all of our practitioners to circle the room so that we are stepping into this emergent field of love. That we feel that flow. That we're in agreement. That we're in it. That we have awakened to our spiritual magnificence. That we know that we're one with that loving presence. That deep self-knowing that we are one with the universal mind, that our mind is the universal mind of God. I know that as we go forth this week, I declare that we empower and celebrate the divinity in all. It is easy for us to see God speaking to God. We see the face of God as we go forth. And that by doing that, we change the planet. We make a difference. We make a huge difference by radiating this self-knowing of oneness with the Spirit, with God, with love, with peace, with joy. That no matter what we're doing, whether we're sitting on the cushion or putting gas in our car, that it is a God action. And we are doing it lovingly. That we know when we get up in the morning that God is so good. And that means that we are so good to ourselves. And we can relax into that. It's not a struggle. It's easy. Knowing that, yes, from our easy chair, we know that we are home, that we don't have to do anything. God is right now. I know that we are sitting in gratitude, in agreement with this beautiful idea, this beautiful truth. So we just allow it to be. We welcome it. We open our hearts, we open our minds, we open our arms, and we just accept this flow of God in our lives as us, and we let it be. We can affirm this by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Please stand for the peace song. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to?
I'll just move the thing.
Okay.
When I wake up in the morning, love, sunlight hurts my eyes. Something without warning, love, weighs heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Oh, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day,
A lovely day.
lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day.
When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, someone is ahead of me, seem to know the way. Just one look at you, and the world's all right with me, yeah. Oh, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be. Come on, what? A lovely day.
Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day.
A lovely day.
Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day.
Oh, just one look at you, and the world's so right with me, yeah. Oh, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. A lovely Gonna be a lovely, a lovely day. It's gonna be a lovely day. Gonna be, yeah.